Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final retrospective video here for the Eric's Blind Feast of Hemlock Vale campaign.
Final retrospective.
It's, I guess, the final in the playlist. It's the last thing in the playlist. It sounds less ominous, right? Yeah.
This was the last time you ever saw me on stream.
I'm ending it. It's because I'm ending it. I'm like, this is it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This is it. All right, we have finished the Feast of Hemlock Vale. There's going to be spoilers for the scenarios we've played, and then also for the campaign itself. We lost.
We did.
But all that aside, what did you think overall of the Feast of Hemlock Vale as a campaign?
I would say that the Feast of Hemlock Vale is my favorite campaign to date. Something has displaced Dunwich. It is narrow. It is a narrow margin that I like Hemlock Vale more than Dunwich, but I loved it.
Yeah. What was it that beat it for you?
I have not yet played an Arkham game where I felt like I had enough time to really soak in the scenarios and the situation and the experience of the game, since Dunwich's really, really great, really, really evocative sense of writing in between the scenarios and in the intros. And so for Hemlock Vale to have the setup phases where you go around and talk to people.
The Preludes,
The Preludes were amazing. The locations you go to and the way that the story lets you either follow the path or not follow the path were amazing. And I feel like there is probably at least 3 or 4 endings hidden in this game that I don't know about, because there's so much stuff that happened. And I was just like, there's gotta be other things connected to this.
Well, there are 4 endings.
Oh, sick.
There are, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I could feel it. Feel it. So it's got the best combination for me of replayability and also having a very linear, clear way that the game is going to go.
Yeah. So you liked the Preludes.
I loved the Preludes.
Yeah.
The Preludes were incredible fun. It was nice to start harder scenarios with a little bit of deck tech and setup. And I felt like it gave them the license to put out some of the hardest Arkham scenarios I've played in terms of just how much time you have to get stuff done versus things start happening. But why are you choked yourself on this thing? There you go.
Jesus, Rose, trying to hang yourself?
Just trying to hang yourself.
Is that punishment for me putting you in the bedroom? You're like, I'm going to kill myself, Dad.
Whoa. Yeah, I thought the Preludes were incredible. Lots of time to build up the story, lots of time to build up the engagement, lots of time to feel like you were given even more choices. And then when the scenarios hit, you were like, okay, I'm mildly set up. My hand is what I want it to be. Yeah. I've got one item in play. Yeah. I need to hit the ground running. And I think that actually it did a really good job for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so the Preludes are very controversial online.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like them. I actually dig them. Yeah. I think that they're fun. I think that they because I think they're fun in the sense of like exploration, and I think that's why I felt that Hemlock Vale would work for you, is because it feels very much like a D&D campaign as opposed to everything else in Arkham, where it's like your DM takes you to an island, gives you a map of the island, and says, where do you want to go?
100%.
Like, because like even the open world stuff that we're gonna see in other things are kind of they're kind of like linear but not. But I think this one does a really good job of giving you an island and also has like cool areas to explore within those islands.
Yeah. Well, and again, like, so one problem I have with Arkham is that on some of the hardest campaigns I've ever felt, we've done in other games, like a lot of Circle Undone, it's like, if you're not playing a great hand on the first turn, you're falling behind. And with Hemlock Vale, I was like, okay, these are about as hard as Circle Undone, some of the scenarios. But I'm ready. Yeah. I'm set up for it. I can start getting my clues right off the turn. I can start doing something. I have a prep turn that is built into the game. Yeah. And that, I felt, really let the scenarios shine as well. They were not afraid to just start punching you. Yeah. But you were ready.
Yeah. And then how do you feel that like felt for like compared to the scenarios, the 3 scenarios where you don't get a setup? The night scenarios,
I actually liked that as well, because the night scenarios, often got a little slower. Like it felt like they were a little slower at the beginning. There was a moment to think, a moment to plan. Even in the hardest, most dangerous, the longest night.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we take all this time to set up. We have a turn to think about it. We get some pre-prep.
Yeah.
But like even in the bear one, it started nice and slow. It had this sense of creeping dread. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. I'm once again gonna just go out on a limb and tell the internet that you're wrong. And the preludes are great, and the night scenarios are great.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, to see in the future because for the preludes, a lot of people are like, they're going to be worse on replays. And I think that's fair and true if you read everything. Or if you, like, in my opinion, even try to game it and get it all, right? Like, with the preludes now, what it becomes is, for me, when I play Hemlock Vale, I'm like, find the residents I'm interacting with, interact with those 2 residents, and then make the perfect hand for the next scenario, right?
Yeah, and I would say that I disagree. I think how many rounds is it going to take in all the preludes for you to get most of the people up to 4? That's actually going to be really hard.
Yeah, I think it's the campaign's designed to make it so you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, in my opinion, like, I see the argument that eventually the preludes will run out, but this is not the only linear campaign where that can happen. Like, in a lot of the games, once you Path to Carcosa, once you know the trick about the party, it's never going to startle you again. So I don't think that's a strong argument. In fact, I would argue that the prelude actually works against that, because the prelude is like, do you know what story happens if you focus on these 2 people instead of those 2 people, or in these 3 people if you're really lucky?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I would disagree. I think the preludes add replayability by a significant margin.
You know, that's why I love doing these videos with you, because you're always on the fringe for these type of things. And I'm not saying I disagree, because Hemlock Vale is my second favorite campaign.
Yeah.
Like, it was like revolutionary for me, and it continues to still be revolutionary after playing it this time. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, this shit's good. The night scenarios, like, are really good. The day scenarios are all pretty good bangers as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not disagreeing with you, because I also still actually enjoy playing the preludes, and I actually even still sometimes read what they're saying, because it is very much I think it hits that, like, that note for me where it's like, you go to the town and you get your quests, and then you leave the town, you come back, and things have changed, right?
Yeah.
And that is cool and fun. Yeah. I also do, I mean, people also, you don't have to experience this, but people also say, like, having to set up the preludes each time can be a bit of a chore for, like, playing something that short. And I agree with that. I don't feel that, because I, like, literally kind of get paid to set up board games, so it's, like, kind of therapeutic to me. Like, it's, like, literally, like, quiet time where I can do, like, personal reflections. So I get it, but I don't relate to it.
I will also say this as someone who is kind of designing my own tabletop role-playing game right now. I actually really enjoy watching Arkham setup, and I really enjoy thinking about Arkham setup, because I think Arkham is at its best when it does interesting things with its setup. And I think that the Prelude really is almost a masterclass in how do you keep this same town setup and this same scenario setup interesting when you know that players are going to interact with it in as many turns overall as they would a standard scenario. But it's going to be slower and quieter and more thoughtful and have a lot more hidden things in it. So I was actually watching this a lot, being like, okay, yeah, this is really interesting that Arkham is now playing with pacing this way.
Nice. Let's move on to the residents of Hemlock Vale. Did you enjoy them? Did you think there was a good gaggle of characters here to kind of interact with, and, like, the stories that we follow? Did you enjoy the characters?
Yeah, I really liked them. There were a few I never saw.
Yeah, we never really talked with Simeon.
And we
never talked to these 2.
I don't think I even met Birdie.
No, Birdie, we didn't save him. He was Dr. Marquez's other person on the expedition. He was the one who went into the woods, and we did get him. We did save him, I think.
Yeah, we did. But that's Birdie, though. I didn't know that's Birdie.
Yeah.
Oh, Birdie.
Yeah, because these 3 are earned in, like, scenarios. These are all the residents on the island from the Preludes.
I really liked it. I really liked the residents. I thought Mother Rachel was given incredible writing. And incredible storytelling was built into her character, and the way that I continually messed up by choosing my interactions with her. I loved that. I really liked that there were characters that I was obviously supposed to view as important, but because I didn't like how they acted or behaved, I didn't talk to them, and I knew it was a mistake at the time, and I loved it. That felt really good for a replayable scenario. I'm one of the, I think, rare fans of the From Software habit of being like, there will be no clues given on this NPC interaction. You get one shot, and if you miss it, or if you fuck it up, or go fight that boss that you thought was optional, you don't get to advance this person's quest anymore.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed people like William just being so detestable, and Simeon just being so awful. That I was just like, all right, fine, kid.
Yeah.
Enjoy the mines.
Yeah.
Oh, Simeon's dead.
And enjoy the mines he did. Yeah.
He did.
So our first scenario we played was, I believe, the Silent Heath it's called.
Yes.
Which is this one. The ash-covered places with all the bugs. What did you think of this scenario? With the corpses as well. Yeah.
I was very confused why they chose bugs for this. I gotta say. Very confused by the choice of bugs. But everything else about it, I loved. It was eerie. It was creepy. It was a great play on the idea of the haunted house. I really liked it.
So I know why they chose bugs. Because the designers went out of their way to make the theme of this one be how is the color affecting the island. So that's why actually the majority of the enemies we fight are natural things like bugs, animals, flora, right? So like that was just like we needed a bug zone, so here's the bugs, you know?
Very fair.
Yeah.
But I did like it. I quite enjoyed it. This really set the tone for me for the rest of the game. And going down and finding their corpses.
Yes,
And going down and...
Yeah, I remember you said that they were actually impressed at like the gall for them to actually go this dark with it.
Yeah, because one of them's a baby, right?
Yeah, one's a child.
Yeah.
This one, the child.
Yeah, I was shocked that they were willing to put a child in. And I was also shocked that they were willing to have a scenario. So... I think it's Dunwich has the ghoul scenario, right? Where they just come up through the house.
No, that's actually the intro.
Right.
That's Night of the Zealot. That's the first one, yeah.
Yeah. I hate that one.
Yeah.
It's just so aggressive and so weird and so, like, camp horror movie over Arkham horror that I didn't love it. This one, it was just like, yeah, this house is empty. Yeah, nothing is happening here. This is the image of what will happen to the island if we mess up.
Yeah.
Was the vibe I got from it. And I loved that.
Yeah, for sure. After that, we went to the Twisted Hollow, which was the lamp one when we were exploring the woods and we get the first taste of the bear.
Oh, I loved this one.
Was the bear in one of these? There's the bear.
Yeah.
We're covering it, but trust us, he's there.
Yeah. Spoilers. Remove it, and it's just another picture of Justin.
Yeah.
I loved this one. I thought this one was incredibly well put together. I liked it much better than the Circle Undone, Split You for the Forest sort of scenario. The lantern was a great mechanic that was very, very swingy.
Yeah.
But never felt like if you messed up too hard, you were going to instantly die. And we focused on keeping the lantern, which only made it feel better. Yeah. It was very cool.
Did you like the bear as like the reoccurring antagonist for the campaign?
I thought that was very interesting, yeah. Very clearly an homage to, and shout out to them for referencing Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation with crystalline weirdness. Yes. An unknown poisoned island, and then also
because I mean, like that in and of itself is very Color Out of Space coded too, right? Well, I mean, doesn't it come from an asteroid? So it is kind of the same thing.
It is basically, in fact, a retelling of the Color Out of Space, in my opinion.
But not in a derogatory way, like in a complimentary way. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Does better, I think, than Lovecraft ever could have imagined with the Color from Out of Space. So yeah, having the Ursen hybrid show up, I was just like, it is an Annihilation reference. Yes. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. Also, what did you think of the color as for the villain of this? Did you like that being? Because remember, I didn't tell you, and I was like, you're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah.
The ants really threw me. I was so sure it was the spinner, and then you were like, it's not someone we've met before, and I was like, I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredibly well done. This is probably the best... I don't know if the Arkham Horror creators watch your videos, but...
I don't either.
But I'm going to say this to them. I'm speaking directly to them. I hope they're watching. When the world ends, it's not an interesting story. In these games, the world ending makes it feel weird to play another Arkham scenario, for me. It doesn't fit. The best writing that Arkham has done so far is the idea that the world is now stranger, that something has been lost, that one of the cults has gained a real foothold and the beginning of the danger is coming. And Hemlock Vale, to me, is a perfect example of that. You go to a lonely, weird island, and you start dealing with things like glimmering meadows, blighted glaives. The land is far away. There's no calling the U.S. Army. There's no Coast Guard that's going to come save you. And as these events transpire, the weirdness of the town is revealed to be not ignorance, but being part of the story. And the fact that you were able to do that in this writing with this island and this eldritch horror, The Color from Outer Space, to me is one of the highlights of storytelling that I've seen Arkham Horror do, personally. I also like the sense that it is cyclical, that this has happened before, with the old house and then with seeing the Ursine hybrid and seeing how mutated the landscape is, and that it will and could happen again. I really like that. There is something deeply unnerving about that, that just Azeroth blows up the world is just like, okay, you gave me one anxiety spike because I'm afraid of dying. But now I'm over it because I also have had to spend my whole life living with the fact that I'm going to die and it's fine. When you have a story like this, it's like, okay, the world gets stranger. The bad things keep happening. There's a weirdness here that cannot be quantified as just win or lose. And the Twisted Hollow, I think, really helped encapsulate that.
Nice. All right. Then after that, we went to the Lost Sister, which was the crab ones with the caves.
I loved this one. I love crabs. I thought that this was really clever. After the bug one, I thought that it was really, really cool to bring in crustaceans as a major Lovecraftian enemy. I thought it was funny at first, and then I very quickly got scared of them. I thought it was a really fun way to explore being near to the water and kind of the weirdness of water. I think the caves did really, really well. The art was horrific. That...
the crab one?
Reclaimed by Nature. Phenomenally terrifying. And just really beautiful. This was a really good sort of grotesque beauty that I thought really encapsulated all of Hemlock Vale. It was also fun.
It's a fun scenario. I got really nervous about finding the right cave, and then we did. You wanted to find the sister.
Yeah,
you don't want to leave her behind. And that's one thing I really enjoy as well about this one, is that the stories are actually very self-contained. It's usually like, what's the mystery, or like, what's my objective? You know? All right, we then went to the Longest Night.
This was so cool. This is so not horror, but it's so well done. This could be its own board game. With a bit more replayability built into it, but probably even not then. This could be its own board game. Arkham snuck an entirely different board game with an entirely different premise and no horror to be had directly into their game. And they didn't think I would notice, but I noticed and I loved it. The Longest Night is so much fun. It's crazy how much they were able to pack into the idea of just exploring one farmstead while being under a time crunch and being threatened from the outside.
So there's a lot of tower defense ones that people have done in like custom scenarios. It was cool to see Arkham actually do an official tower defense style game. I think they handle it really well. I like the revelation story-wise too of finding the mutated people inside the barn. Another classic, like Dunwich inspiration, like the Dunwich horror and all that, right? I think works really well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this was so clever. And the lead up and explanation for it too was really, really good. Like, I don't call this horror because it absolutely is a tower defense, and I don't find tower defense scary. But the way that they told the story actually fit it together with the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like there was a reason why the captives were doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with that.
All right. Then we went to Hemlock House. This was Monster House when they turn into the rooms to go for that.
That was sick. That was well done. I was really impressed with how well done it was, because it's such an old-fashioned haunted house style storytelling. Really reminds me of like a story called Lair of the White Worm. And I just thought they did it great. I found it very... I didn't find it the hardest scenario, but it was very fun. And it was very fun to watch the house transform and then to have to try and put it back into being a house.
Yeah, and I feel like that's part of the reason like why like the day scenarios are a little bit easy and they'll last a little bit, because they're balanced around that setup time you have in the Preludes, right?
Yeah.
But then when you get to the third one, you have that same setup time, but your decks are better, so it just naturally becomes easier for the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we didn't really get to experience it. But what did you think at least of the initial concept of Fate of the Vale? The final scenario.
Really good. I'm sad I didn't get to play more of it.
I can't find it right now.
It seemed really fun.
Here it is, yeah.
It seemed really rewarding. It seemed really creepy. I really liked how it opened and what it started exploring and doing and the horrificness of it. Like, regardless, I feel like there's no win condition where you save the other people. You're climbing a mountain of corpses of crystal to stop this horrible entity, and the way that the board is laid out and the way that the rules are put in there in this silly and unenforceable but incredibly narrative storytelling was just really good. I loved it. I liked it a lot.
Well, I hope next time we play you can see a more complete version of it.
The art in this too, absolutely phenomenal. Probably some of the best art and some of the best storytelling through the art that I've ever seen in Arkham.
Paris, yeah. Yeah, there's some good art in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, Hemlock, I mean, like you said, it's your new favorite campaign.
Yeah, I would play this again literally next.
Yes, yeah.
That's how much I like it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, it's also the benefit that you have, 2 extra scenarios?
Yeah.
Because you didn't see... I don't want to spoil any cards here, so I'm just trying to go through quick. You didn't see... I don't know them. I've only played Hemlock maybe 5 times at this point. Yeah, you didn't see Thing in the Depths, and you didn't see Written in the Rock. Yeah, so those are the 2 you've missed.
But I feel like I've missed so much more than that.
Yeah, because you get all the Prelude stuff. You can interact with all the people. Yeah, get their stories. Yeah.
I love. And I also, I interacted a whole bunch with Mother Rachel, and I'm so excited to try the opposite and see how bad it gets. Because I feel like it's going to get horrible when I'm constantly defiant of her, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Only one way to find out. But I mean, we have a few other campaigns to get through first. But you only have 4 campaigns left, and then you're caught up, which is crazy.
Whoa, then I'll have done 1 of each.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. And then over here, I'm like, I've only played Hemlock Vale 5 times at this point.
That is true. And I'll be like, I've lost more Arkham than I've won, statistically.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's good.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Eric and I will be doing Innsmouth Conspiracy for the next campaign here, which is also a pretty fun one, but I don't know. I'm curious to see. I mean, I'm starting to kind of get a better idea of what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think, you'll enjoy playing it, but I think it's not going to resonate with you in the same way other ones
I want to
do.
be Silas Marsh in this one.
You want to be Silas?
Yeah.
All right, let's go!
I want to play Silas in Innsmouth.
Yes!
I think he's a survivor, right?
He's a survivor. He's my favorite investigator.
I want to play him.
I'll give you, he's tough, but I think that you can do it.
I'm going to do it.
All right, well, we're going to build the decks right now, and I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Yes.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.